Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. With the end of the year drawing to a close, I thought it would be a good chance to look back at those skincare brands that did us dirty in 2022. For various different reasons that I'm going to come on to later in this video, these are the brands that didn't put the consumer first, whether it be dodgy marketing, unsubstantiated claims, or price hikes. These are skincare brands that I've ended the year with a less favourable opinion of than maybe I started with. And I want to share with you in today's videos the reasons and my thoughts, feelings, and opinions when it comes to each and every one of these. So, sit back, relax, let's talk the skincare brands that did us dirty. Now, before we get into this video, I would love to know your own hot take on any of the brands mentioned in today's video, so sound off in the comments section below. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Promise me that whilst you're down there, you'll also give this video a big thumbs up and a like. This is honestly the best way of supporting me as a content creator, because the more likes the video gets, the more widely YouTube will distribute it on its platform. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. Now, I've got a lot to get through in today's video, so let's just cut that waffle and delve straight on in. So, let's kick things off with this brand, La Roche-posay, the darling of the French pharmacy skincare scene for like the past couple of decades. Now, La Roche-posay do some really great products that are holy grails for so many of you guys out there. But for some reason, this year, they've kind of done everything in their power to really turn us off as consumers. And there's quite a few different things I want to pick apart when it comes to this brand. Let's talk about reformulations. They've taken quite a few of their cult holy grails and reformulated. And I think the general consensus is not for the better. A great example of it is this. This is the Roche-posay Cicaplast Balm, one of the most effective skin barrier repairing creams I think I've ever tried. Deeply hydrates, calms any irritation, repairs the barrier. Like, what's not to love about that? Well, they decided to tweak this formulation, and they've taken out some of the beneficial ingredients and put some others in there to give it a more matte finish on the skin. While some people do say they enjoy the new finish and texture, the general consensus is that it just doesn't perform as well as it used to. They've done the same with some of their cleansers, and I just don't understand the ethos behind this. I noticed that some of the ingredients that they've taken out are the more expensive ones, so maybe they're looking to trim the costs, improve their margins, which could be one reason to explain this, but ultimately I think they're going to find far fewer people are reaching for products like this if they just don't work as well. Let's then come on to their cruelty-free status. So, La Roche-posay have never been a cruelty-free brand. They stopped testing on animals themselves a few years ago, but they do still sell into mainland China and hand over their products for animal testing as required by Chinese law. They did say about 18 months ago that they were looking to work with the Chinese government to get some opt-outs in place so they no longer had to do that, so they could declare themselves fully cruelty-free. Well, since that, we've heard nothing. They're still selling into mainland China. You can actually check these opt-outs that have been granted, and La Roche-posay don't have any of them. And so, whilst I think that they may still behind the scenes be trying to do this, 18 months has gone by and kind of nothing's changed. I think that's really disappointing because I would expect at least some movement towards this. You know, I know these things don't happen overnight, but to have zero movement, I think is just really disappointing, which again is another reason why I think a lot of people might just feel a little bit let down by the brand. Finally, should we talk about their prices? Specifically their new serums that they are promoting all over YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. These serums are ridiculously overpriced for the really naff formulation they're actually delivering. There's 5 different ones. I think the calming serum's okay, the rest are useless. The vitamin C is packed full of potentially irritating ingredients. It's got some dry and alcohol in there. It's got a really low concentration of vitamin C. It's going to be doing nothing for your skin. The same goes for the retinol. They've really relied on their relationships with certain content creators to promote these, to get the hype around them, because there's no way these products are selling themselves. They're absolute garbage. And I covered in a recent video why I thought that was the case, which I'm going to leave a link to up there. All told, I think La Roche-posay need to go back to the drawing board. Think about what their true ethics and ethos actually is, what they're looking to achieve with their products. Maybe stop putting the whole cost and improving your margins first. I'll look at the performance of the products, because I think a lot of people are going to feel a bit towards this brand as we come into 2023. And it's always easier to lose the respect than it ever is to gain it when it comes to consumers. And I think this is a little bit of a shame when it comes to La Roche-posay. Up next is Bondi Sands. Now, Bondi Sands kickstarted 2022 in a really good way. They were kind of going viral and people were loving their products, particularly their sunscreens. This kind of all came to a crashing halt mid-year when they were slapped with a lawsuit around some of the misleading claims on their bottles. This all relates to their claims that their products were reef safe, or I think they use the term reef friendly. Now, actually, this isn't a regulated term internationally. Like a lot of things such as clean, it's just something you'll see on a lot of bottles, or natural. There's There's no universal definition and regulation about what this actually means, so a lot of brands take a bit of license and use these terms quite freely without really understanding or caring what the meaning is behind them. So reef safe was a term that was coined to denote sunscreens which were safe to use in coral reef areas. Certain UV filters in chemical sunscreens, when they come into contact with reefs, can cause some stress, can actually over time pollute those areas and cause coral degradation. We obviously don't want to do that. We need to protect our marine life and our world around us. So a lot of people, particularly in areas where they might be going swimming around coral reefs, looked for that reef safe certification. Bondi Sands put this on a whole suite of their sunscreens, but actually turns out that a lot of the ingredients used within them were not reef safe and would actually cause damage to coral reefs if used in close proximity to them. I think this led to a lot of people feeling disappointed. You know, the shine instantly came off this brand. I actually don't know how that lawsuit played through. I think it's probably likely still going through the courts. But the fact that they said on the back of it, look, we hold our hands up, okay, our products weren't entirely reef safe, we must do better in the future, it just seemed like a really naff cop-out. You know, I think we should absolutely expect more from brands. If you're going to put a claim like that on your bottle, you absolutely should be able to substantiate it and just say, look, we'll try, we'll do better in the future. Kind of isn't it anymore. So I think this is a brand that, through their own mismarketing of their products, is probably going to struggle to regain a lot of confidence and trust with the consumers as we come into 2023. Now, let's talk this brand, the Inkey List. Now, the Inkey List launched a new suite of products in 2022 that I think were almost universally panned as being ridiculously overpriced and kind of questionable in terms of what they'd actually deliver. They called it their Super Solutions range, designed to like supercharge your skincare routine. However, when you look beneath that, they weren't really offering anything that wasn't already available at a lower price at the drugstore. You know, a 10% azelaic acid serum, hardly groundbreaking, but charging upwards of $30 for it just seemed ruinously expensive when you compare it to some other really great azelaic acids on the market. They also had some claims that went alongside things, such as their retinol that they said would help minimize scarring and hyperpigmentation. Yes, in the long term, but I think it was a little bit dubious. I think some of the claims were overblown, is what I'm trying to say, which again led to a lot of people feeling disappointed when they reached for the products. This also kind of threw a spotlight on the Inkey List retinol, which was their original product. That, they said, worked beautifully well, but actually we now understand isn't really all it's cracked up to be. It's not a 1% retinol, it's a whole mix of different vitamin A derivatives and esters, which aren't going to be as potent as that 1% claim would suggest. They've now got their Super Solutions retinol, which they said is going to be game-changing for your routine, and you look at it and it's just a standard strength retinol that you can absolutely get cheaper on the shelves at the drugstore. You don't need to reach for the Inkey List. This sort of overblown marketing where brands exaggerate the claims, put all of these different things on the bottle and expect us to just fall for it and buy the product anyway, is very dated. Also, the Inkey List have been called out for this in the past. It happened with their succinic acid blemish treatment. So they've clearly kind of learned nothing from this process, and the Super Solutions range is ridiculously overpriced. There's nothing innovative amongst that collection that means I would recommend you actually buy the products. Look for something elsewhere. The Inkey List, I think, are running out of ideas fast, and they've almost become, like their founders originally said they were, the fast skincare, a bit like fast fashion, where you buy it, you dispense with it wherever. And I think we're all becoming more mindful consumers and looking for things that are going to actually deliver in the long term. This sort of fast fashion approach to skincare that the Inkey List are offering, I think, is a bit time limited, and I think they're going to struggle as we come into 2023 to really maintain the hype that seems to surround them. Nothing to see here, keep on moving, there are just better things at the drugstore. Now, another brand that's kind of let me down in 2022 is Deciem. Now, Deciem are the parent company of The Ordinary and Niod, two of my favourite skincare brands that have some amazing products. However, they also used to own Hylamide before they shut it down. Now, a lot of us, there was a little bit of a cult following for Hylamide, particularly around their sub-Q range, which delivered for so many people. When Hylamide was shut down, a lot of people said, why wouldn't you just bring some of those products back that had really great formulations under one of your other brands, either The Ordinary or Niod? And Deciem teased and said, watch this space, something's happening. Well, we're kind of 8 months past that point and literally zero has happened. We've heard nothing more about that. And I think a lot of people have just given up. Now, are we entitled as consumers to have those exact same products brought back under a different brand? Absolutely not. It all comes down to these companies, what they want to do, what products they want to have in their collection. But I think to tease something and then to just not deliver it is kind of a hallmark of Deciem. They did the same with like the alpha lipoic acid, which was one of my favourite antioxidants from The Ordinary. Disappeared around 4 years ago, and they've been constantly teasing that it's coming back sometime soon, and yet, 4 years later we still haven't seen it. This recurring theme of tantalising us with those those little nuggets of information, but then failing to deliver on it, I think over time does have a cumulative effect on our confidence in the brand. And I think that's a shame because The Ordinary and Neod have some really, really wonderful products that sit beneath them. I still haven't given up complete hope that the sub-Q range from Hylamide will be coming back with different branding under The Ordinary in the coming months, but the fact that they've not mentioned that since, and it's kind of gone a little bit cold, has left me feeling a little bit disappointed towards deciem. I'm shocked, I'm a big boy, I'll pick myself up and I'm going to still continue to shop Neod and The Ordinary in 2023, but I do think this is a bit of a recurring theme with deciem, kind of promising things, giving us snippets of things that we might should expect, and then kind of the trail going cold. So I hope they take a look at this and think maybe this isn't the right way to treat consumers and things that we want to continue to do as we go through 2023. Finally in this video, let's talk CeraVe. Now I know I've saved this to last because I know a lot of you are aware I'm not the biggest fan of CeraVe. They kind of couldn't have really done anything in 2022 to make me less impressed with them as a brand, because I pretty much had a rock bottom opinion of the brand when I started the year. However, throughout this year, they've been at it again with their reformulations. I think CeraVe of all the skincare brands are the one that does the most sneaky tweaks and reformulations to their products. They never advertise it, they don't let anyone know, and it's only when you continue to use a product that you've used successfully for years and suddenly it's burning, stinging, or not delivering that you think, oh, has something changed? And then if you question, they say, yeah, we did do a slight tweak to our formulation. One of the key things they seem to have been doing in 2022 is increasing the amount of niacinamide in a lot of their products, which is probably the key reason a lot of people are reporting that the CeraVe products they've loved for years are now burning and stinging the skin. I don't like this approach to reformulation. If you're going to do it, be open about it and say to people, we've reformulated this product, this is what the changes are, this is what you might experience in terms of pros and cons afterwards. Doing it a bit underhand like this just leads people to disappointment when they think, actually, is it my skin that's the problem? You know, this product's worked for me for years, so it's not the product's fault, it must be me, it must be my skin. It's not. It's the fact that CeraVe are constantly tweaking their formulations, and the amount of niacinamide that's now in their product is way in excess of what most dermatologists and what most scientific studies actually show is reasonable. So I'd say, if you're using CeraVe and it's burning and stinging, stop. Don't persevere with it. It's not your skin that's the problem, it's the reformulations that they've been doing this year. So just have that at the forefront of your mind and maybe switch to a different moisturizer or cleanser, one that's got a lower concentration or no niacinamide at all in it, and I think you'll get better results. So there you have it, guys, a rundown of 5 skincare brands that did us dirty in 2022. Are there any other brands that you would like to add to this list? Sound off in the comments section below. I think as consumers we have a right to demand better. These are just a few examples of where brands just haven't been fully transparent or treated us the consumer with the respect that I think we deserve. You know, we can absolutely vote with our wallets, with our coin. If we don't like what brands are doing, there are plenty of other ones that we can shop with, and these are brands that I'm definitely going to look to maybe take a second opinion of, maybe move away from in the coming year, because ultimately I want to support the brands that do the very best by us, the consumer. Hopefully this has just helped you on your skincare journey. Wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and love your skin. Take care. Bye.